Sky Squad, we are back in the building, and we got a couple of things that we got to talk about that are a bit troubling. Okay, these will be the types of stories that I just usually take no pleasure in talking about, and then we'll get to some real fun stuff. Well, some shady stuff at the end. Okay. But for the first couple of stories, I mean, these are I'm just going to give you the straight news on them. Okay. And we'll talk about them as we go. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Now let's get down into the biz naive. You guys know that Katie Rost is one of my faves. I've had the pleasure of interviewing her a few times. Met her in person when she came down to Miami when I was working in news daily. And she was just a joy and a pleasure. And I really have to start that story with that note, right? So while it is troubling also that she has found herself in a situation where she is, re-entering rehab. I'm assuming I think it's re-entering. Because we know that she's had some troubles before. Well, before we get into the story, let's just hear it in her own words.
Do this really quick. So I've got 60 seconds. 60 seconds because that's how long Instagram allows you to do something. Anyway, so I got a few really great questions. I'm going to try to answer them as quickly as possible. The reason that I am at NIH is for alcohol use disorder. I have been here before. I was here a year ago. Did really well for a long period of time, and then had some stressors in my life this past month, and things got a little out of control, and I started drinking again. Also went off of my medication, so that caused some problems. And then with the help of my friends and family, I got back to NIH. It is a rehabilitation program. They also do studies. I'm not doing a study here. I am getting rehab. I do have my phone. I'm doing great. I'm out of withdrawal, and things are looking good. So I'm going to try to do this really quick.
Right. So there you have it, in her own words, exactly what Katie Rost has been going through. Just the reality of the situation. I gotta say that I'm proud that she's taken the steps that she needs to really continue her journey with sobriety and to try to exercise all of her options. And if one of those happens to be going back to rehab, I think that that's a great thing. So, she's part of the reality TV family at this point. And so that is why we talk about, when we have to talk about these types of things, I can't, as much as I want to, shy away from it, because I also feel like there could be a positive in this for someone out there who is, going through what she's going through, to know that there is hope for you, there is help for you, there is aid for you. And similarly, as when we talked about the Kiki situation, you can write your own story and you can take the steps needed. And every day is a step. Okay. I think if we look at our lives in that regard, I think we will be a lot more gentle with ourselves, which leads me into the next story. Now, I had to block out most of this post because I don't think that would play well on YouTube, but that's just, my thought and my assessment. I don't think it would play well on any of the platforms that I post this video on. But here's what is going on. Our friends over at the Real Housewives Zone posted this to Instagram last night. And when I saw it, I was like, dang, man. So the headline reads, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Mary Cosby's son, Robert Jr., seen posting stuff use on social media. So here on this channel, when I refer to stuff, I'm referring to things that are taken that we shan't mention on the YouTube and social media streets. Okay. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? On that stuff. Now you know, okay? I would say allegedly, but because if you go through this thread, and again, I'm not going to post these photos, but there is a lot of stuff use being displayed in these photographs and these stories that are posted, and it is just a little crazy. So apparently, Robert Jr. and his wife, Alexiana, are allegedly flaunting various stuff that seemingly include stuff that you stuff that you drink that ain't good for you, stuff that you're inhaling that ain't good for you, and stuff that you take that probably may or at least look like they're being misused. Let's just say that, okay? Now, apparently, he still lives with his mother in the Utah mansion featured on the show, and they have both him and the wife have allegedly both shared multiple posts featuring various stuff. Now, Robert has allegedly posted dozens of images and videos of himself alongside different types of bottles and cups, if this lets you guys know what type of stuff I'm talking about, that is allegedly mixed with various clear soft drinks. Now, there's photos of the bottles, including labels, offering further clarification. And apparently, um, th- there's just more that I can't even say in this. Like, let me just state this, okay? Because, and I know I'm having a hard time because even the patient and prescribing physicians' names, well, they've been removed in most of the pics and screen grabs, but apparently, allegedly, one doctor's name is actually still visible in at least one photo. Now, the photos appear to have been snapped in Mary's home, allegedly. So let me put the alleged badge up here because nothing is real and nothing is and everything is fake. But I'm being sarcastic. But to take this on a serious note, you know, your this day and age, I feel like because he's 20, so I can't call him a kid at this point. Young adults seem to move real differently in this day and age. And in my mind, I'm like, it just ain't smart. I don't know why if he living in the house, she don't know that he married. But if she don't know that he married, does she know that this is happening as well, allegedly, right? I guess my thought is like, y'all just at least at the end of the day, you know, everything you posting, like you got to be careful about what you post to social media. You know what I'm saying? Like you really do, and that's at any age. And you know, I know I'm much older than this young man, but you gotta have some type of sense about you and the way you move, especially because your mom's in the public eye. You know what I'm saying? Unless this is some type of cry for help, you know what I mean? But outside of that, it just feels like this is just like plain negligent ignorance. And I hate to put that judgment on it. And I'm sure, and I feel like there's some help that does need to be had, but I just feel like the blatant posting it on social media is the thing that bothers me the most. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's lots of people posting stuff like this. I know that. That's what's so crazy to me. But also the fact that your mom is on a national television platform, it just don't make things any better. So y'all send up a prayer for Mary and her family, and all of this stuff that's going on because it's disappointing to see, and it's even harder for me to talk about as you guys can probably tell. So if I'm like talking around it, it's just because it's disturbing to me and it's difficult to talk about, especially being a black man myself. You know what I'm saying? It's just something I hate to see, and that's just the reality of who I am as a person. So just pray for these kids, man. Pray for these kids. That's all I can really say about that because I'm disturbed. So now let's talk about something fun. All right. I know we didn't talk a lot of serious stuff today, but it's time for the fun. And I don't know what's given more. Okay. What gave more this week for y'all? This episode of BravoCon, okay, or Dr. Heavenly and Carlos King's live where they recapped Potomac and Married to Medicine. I don't know. It's hard to say. So the question came up at BravoCon after Lesa Milan slayed Sheree of the She by Shein variety. And Karen sort of came to Sheree's defense. So the question on the board is who's guilty of thinking they're a bigger star than they actually are? And so then, Karen, so it lands on Karen to answer the question, right? And so again, you can tell nobody really wants to answer these questions because it's going to be something shady, right? And so Karen, of course, expressing her displeasure for Lesa Milan coming for Sheree, basically is like, I don't know who the young lady down there in the purple is or whatever like that. And I guess she was referring to Lesa Milan because that was who was talking about Sheree, right? And so, Karen talks about, one of the rules of being a newbie is that you must bow to the crown first. Now, I'm assuming that she's meaning that because Sheree is an OG of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And the Real Housewives of Atlanta came out in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was October 2008. And so, yes, Sheree is an OG in this Housewives game. However, at the time that Sheree was housewiving, Lesa Milan was college healing, okay, in 2009. So for me, it would be a very difficult sell for me to think of Lesa Milan, who for many of us is reality TV royalty in the sense that she has been in the world of reality TV for a very long time. Actually, and I love the Grand Dame, and I respect that she wanted to show some love to Sheree because I feel like why not? She's sitting beside her also. But I can't pretend like, whether or not you knew who Lesa Milan was or is in the housewife space, there are plenty of us who know the reality space and who knew who she was before she went into the Dubai housewives. That's kind of like saying the same thing to Caroline Stanberry, who was also a part of the network before Karen came around. Lesa Milan was on reality TV before Karen was. So in my mind, when I'm thinking about reality TV legacies, Sheree started a year before Lesa Milan. So I feel like Lesa Milan was asked a question. It made the most sense to respond with Sheree because she had already gone through the She by Shein stuff. And so, it is what it is. But I think at the end of the day, it's all shade. I disagree with Karen on this one, and I typically find myself agreeing with Karen, but on this one, I gotta respectfully disagree, Miss Kern. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I respect Sheree as a reality housewives OG, reality TV royalty. We could say that I think about her safely, but let's not act like Lesa Milan is a stranger to this world because she's not. Okay, she's not. And because you don't know who she is, that don't mean the rest of the world don't know who she is. And the Bravo TV world is it's a pretty generous world, but let's face it, that there are other reality TV spaces and places that you can go. Okay. So y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Are you team Kern, team Lesa? Lesa did respond and say, listen, I was asked a question and I answered, period. Okay. Anyway, Fun stuff, fun shade, fun way to end the show. Yeah, man, those other stories. The Katie one, I feel hopeful about. The other one with Mary's son, it disturbs me. So we're gonna just lift up some prayer for her and their family, and hopefully they can get that whole situation under control, because it's not a good look for that young man. So anyway, that's the tea, that's the news, and I'll catch you guys in